Hey, my people, good morning. This is Diary of a Coach. Today is episode 351. 351. We are 14 episodes away from going on our DOAC app. 14 episodes away from going on our DOAC app. 351 is the episode. Good morning. Oh, fantastic. This is the week of responsibility. Let's not forget, this is our week of being responsible. Please, my dearest lovers, my dearest community members, my dearest Diary of a Coach community, CC, Council of Elders, CC, Chairman, Council of Elders, please stay at home, please. As much as it lies with you, please stay at home. Please stay at home. We don't know who has contracted the virus. We don't know where whom has gone to before they met you. We have no idea who is what. Please stay at home. I'm begging you. Do the best you can to stay at home. Please. And if you have to go out, please use protective gears. Please. Use protective gears as much as possible. This is the week of responsibility. This morning the topic is if I were the president. If I were the president. If I were the president. And I'm going to borrow a leaf here. We all are presidents at our little circles. You are a president of your house. You're a president of your business. You're a president of any community that you govern over. You're a president over different spheres. So it is not necessarily the president of Nigeria that I'm talking to. But in this context, I want to tell myself, if I were the president of Nigeria, what would I have done as regards the COVID-19 virus? What would I have done? You would recall that when the Boko Haram issue, when there was news that the Chibok girls had been abducted, the then president, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, was said to have doubted the truth around that incident. He was said to have said that the propaganda was meant to mock him. He was said to have been laid back, reluctant to investigate because he felt or he concluded that it was untrue. Unfortunately, it turned out that it was actually true. In fact, so many people in Nigeria kept saying it was a hoax, it was a fraud, it was a lie, it was this, it was that. I think till now, some people still believe that Chibok story was created and that it wasn't true. Well, to the best of information around and from the incidences that have played out, especially the reactions of the parents of the Chibok girls, there were abductions of Chibok girls. He did not act on time. Unfortunately, we still have not had so many of the girls returned, especially someone like Leah Sharibu. So, this is a perennial experience, apparently. If I were the president and the COVID virus became a challenge, even prior to when the World Health Organization declared it a pandemic, we had already started seeing the wave in Europe. We had started seeing how it was dealing with the Chinese. Then we started seeing the evidence in Iran. You remember Iran was the second highest at that time. Then it appeared in the UK. Then it appeared in the US. Then it appeared in Spain. It was later it appeared in Italy. And then in Italy, it became like a massive issue. If I were the president of Nigeria, I would have, from the get-go, assembled my team and asked critical questions. When Chikwe, I think he's the chairman or he's the main player of the NCDC, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, when he traveled to China on an investigative trip and returned and quarantined himself. After quarantining himself, as at that time, we still did not have any case in Nigeria. If I were the president, I would have sat with that man and said, tell me the honest truth. What should we do to make sure this does not enter Nigeria? That would have been the first thing I would do. The man that saw it with his eyes would have been my first person to call. The first mistake, Mr. President, and I think, because 2 days ago, Mr. President addressed the nation for about 23 minutes after 3 weeks of waiting. And in that address, he called it COVID-19. My personal interpretation of that is Mr. President has not been following the news about COVID-19. If he was, there is no way he would have called it COVID-19. Because if you globally have been hearing it called COVID-19, you would not call it COVID-19. But that's by the way. If he had sat with Mr. Chikwe, he would have heard from the horse's mouth, Mr. President, this issue is a crisis. And I think that we should just cut off any air flights and local travels immediately. That would have been a very significant step to take if I were Mr. President. From that moment, even if I had not acted prior to that time, I would have come on air and said, my people, this is the problem. I have sat with this man. In fact, put him beside you. I mean, we see Trump stand at the rostrum and while addressing the nation, he has all the people who have the information. Mr. President did not even need to speak. Just create the opportunity. You don't need to sit down in some room with a recorded camera. No. Stand somewhere, let the press come to you, bring Chikwe, bring Minister of Health, talk to us, say, okay, Chikwe, tell us what you know, tell us what you have observed, what do you think we should do? Bring Minister of Health. This way, we will see that there is proactive steps being taken to protect us. We need to be protected. We need to. There needs to be evidence that you care about us as citizens. We are over 200 million, for God's sake. And if this pandemic goes way out of hand in Nigeria, based on what we see happen abroad, it is not going to be funny. I saw a video yesterday of how people react to the virus, how the pain, the bodily pain of someone whose body has succumbed to the virus, it is not even funny at all. The pain is excruciating. And I can just imagine those slums and prisons, all those areas where there is crowd. Please, we don't even want this to happen at all. So, Mr. President, addressing us as often as you can is not too much to ask. That's one. Number two, pragmatically, literally shut down the borders. Literally, like not figuratively. Literally shut down. This has taken too long. I know there's been announcements, yes, international flights are no more flying, but as at yesterday or as at midnight of 2 days ago, a flight British Airways still landed Nigeria. It is just not right. Land borders are still partially closed. Even though last night I saw a post, I've not verified it because in this country everybody is posting everything everywhere. I read last night just before I slept off at about midnight that the land borders have been fully shut. I want to hope that that is true. It is long overdue. Ghana has fully locked down its land borders. Since Ghana, as you are landing from your plane, there is a presidential task force. They call it Armed Forces something. Big boss, they are waiting for you outside the airport. As you are coming out of the arrival, you are entering that bus, they are taking you straight to quarantine for the next 14 days. That is the way we should be aggressive about this situation. We're handling it with kids' gloves. We're still treating it like, well, let's just see how it goes. Let's just see how it goes. Let's just see how it goes. The number of people that have come into Nigeria in the last 2 weeks is enough reason why we may have an explosion. I'm telling you, the number of people that have flown into this country in the last 2 weeks is the only reason why we may have an explosion. And this is a concern for Nigerians. Number 3, if possible, announce a curfew, Mr. President. Announce a national curfew. If you're not doing essential services, and if you're a delivery person because of commodities and essential needs, there should be some arrangement. But announce a curfew. If you're going out, unless you show, I don't even know how this can be done, but I'm sure stakeholders can advise better. If you need to buy essential commodities, determine how it can be done. But we need to announce a curfew. We need to announce a curfew. Maybe a 1 hour or a 2 hour opening, get what you need to get, go back home. Unless there's an enforcement, Nigerians may not likely comply. Enforcement is what Nigerians understand. I don't think Nigerians mentally have a democratic mindset. Mentally, we are still battered by the military experience. So it seems that we are needing enforcement for us to understand the danger behind this COVID. So please, Mr. President, it is not too late to begin to be presidential. It is not too late to be presidential. State governors, it is not too late to act proper. It is not too late. It is in our favor to be aggressive now. It's better to err on the side of not being reasonable than to err on the side of being laid back. Let us not be reasonable with the rules now. Let us enforce the rules now. Let it look like an extremist tendency. It is safer for us also, because this pandemic will ground us if we don't take the right steps. It's very, very painful experience. So please, Mr. President, we're calling on you as a community on Diary of a Coach. We're joining our voices with everyone that has been calling on you. Please step up to the plate. Please step up your game, sir. Please step up your game, sir. Call the right people and work with them. Don't work with politicians. They don't know anything about COVID. They have no idea. Stop reading information from blogs and stop hearing from the politicians around you that also are hearing from others who are hearing from others. Sit with the right people, sir. This is the kind of place I give President Olusegun Obasanjo credit. If he were the president, sir, I know what that man would have done. By now, he go down close everywhere. That man no sense. Like, he thinks of the end case scenario. I mean, the same Obasanjo in the last few weeks has been advising, shut down the borders, take this thing more seriously. He has said this thing. So I can imagine if he were the president, he would have shut down the borders. He would have taken more aggressive steps. But this is very important. We need to be unreal. We need to be unreasonable in our rules now. Like, take it to the extreme. It's better to take it to the extreme and relax it later than to be waiting until it has hit us, then we now go to the extreme. All the people that came into the country did not have to come into the country. They did not have to. If they had to, guess what we would have done, sir? We would have given hotels a waiver. Sanitize those hotels. As you're arriving from the airport, mandatory